Get it early, get it often, but get it here. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Harmonic Pattern Podcast is back. What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? Big shout out to the chat. Thank you for showing up again. Caesar, Victoria, David, Snipes. You guys are great. VJ, Jordan. Hello, Miss Stephanie. How are you today? Clint, good to see you. Swooping Hawk, what's up? So we're back. And we've learned a very important lesson, incredible lesson, of the strength of Harmonic, the Harmonic Strength Index, counter Harmonic Strength Index signal against a primary pattern. What we really were hammering down on Monday, Tuesday was the phenomenon that we're looking at here in Ethereum. The clear signal that said more time and lower for what needs to happen before this whole pattern can even be resolved as an opportunity. We know the deal that we've been looking at for, weeks. Really looking for the weekly time frame to get some progress. We'll look at that in a second, but this whole situation of understanding how critical these little signals can be inside of zone, major pattern zone. We had our first confirmation on Ethereum, and this is similar for a lot of the daily charts. Coming back, having your initial reaction, and then it being a dud. So absolutely, go back, and if you weren't there Monday or Tuesday, please look at those. These little strategies are going to make all the difference in the world. So we're going to look at a bunch of these for crypto today. Hey, some of them are getting close to opportunities. Absolutely getting very close to being major opportunities on our next trigger. You've got everything you want to see structurally. You are... it was a little bit of confusion. I think people were, wondering if I'm flipping from bearish to bullish. No, it's been quite clear. We've major bullish development, but until we have specific triggers, checkbacks, that whole process doesn't even start. We're in the final phase here of, especially for something like Ethereum, all the way down here, back at the 1,000 level. They're probably going to defend that, but let's take away all of the psychological stuff. It doesn't matter if it's 1,000 or 100. Where's the pattern? Where's the confirmation? What are those levels? I did get some feedback that I thought was really positive. Grateful for it, of especially just walking through the basics. Walking through, people do like when I connect dots. And it do like when I walk through those essential setups of how to interpret it. I don't think anyone's going to deny the fact that when you can connect dots properly, that framework is going to spell out some powerful levels for you. So that's what we're going to do. We'll do a little bit more of that today. We're going to look at a number of your favorite S coins. But Ethereum being the top S coin of them all, King S, then this is going to definitely be one of the two markets, Bitcoin being the other one, that if you've got a vested interest in crypto, you need to see these things do their development now. And really, we are, as I said on Monday, we started this 2-week period being basically getting into a starting phase, getting close to being able to give us something for since November, January, however you want to define it, being a potential place to be positioning. And I still think this is going to happen quicker than we originally anticipated. I thought this would drag all summer. But if we get something to fall down into here, and we outlined all of this on Monday, Tuesday, look at how much progress we've made on HSI. We were looking at that a few days ago when that had just triggered with the check back. Now it takes us down into this rather substantial zone that we want to analyze. Not to mention, look at what's going on here. Okay, amplified RSI has shown us something that I want to talk about as well, where we have a complex structure, but guess what? We do not have the mandatory 50 level that was really required to set up a bigger signal. These are, again, small differences that have a great implication for what we can expect. What this means in the failure, inability to get to the 50 line, and now we're almost at the retest, says this whole structure, it's not an RSI band because we have to go to the 50 level for that multi-segmented development to take shape. That says this whole area is still initial stages. You're still technically off of a complex structure here. What is likely is we're going to come back down here. We're going to hit that oversold again as a check back retest of our first confirmation. Again, that spells reaction. Tells us that no matter what comes from here is only a reaction. And we got a ways to go. So please, I'm going to try to be as clear as possible on all of this, that you are not even, I said this on Monday, I think, that you are, if it's a baseball game, you are first inning, even top of the first, 2 outs, looking for this thing to set up and go. But you're still in that final phase to come down. Check out the weekly on Ethereum, much like the other markets like Bitcoin. We'll get to this is the larger development that looking a little better. Check it out. We are on our weekly level. We're coming above the zero. Under this teal line, that's 0. On the top line, that's 100. The red line, 88.6. The green line, that's 11.3. Those are the definitions of overbought and oversold with Harmonic Strength Index. At least this is coming up for the first time in weeks. Since entering the zone all the way back in May, it's been just a straight shot oversold expansion. Not an easy condition to really detect when you first get in there, but that's why we look at the relative strength indicator. Essentially, these need to agree. And looks like you're going to get 3 of the 4 on amplified RSI as well to give you a complex structure. All of that, piece that together, okay, should set you up within the next 2 weeks, 10 days. Call it a week from Sunday to be looking for that development to finally come out. But until then, you're still in between. You're still trying to finish this down move. Do we get to the 680 level? That's been the big deal. That's the big BAM target on Ethereum. You know, from a pure structural level, we always want to assess that first. Where are the numbers? The big 886, I definitely agree. That would be maximum structural downside for this move. And it's happening, again, more quickly than we anticipated a few months ago. Something like that. Connecting dots, your 886 level, bang. 604, depending on where you're grabbing it from. You know, that's the COVID low for Ethereum. Let me just get the magnet mode on. Easy way to do that. 89. See that matters too. Look what I just did. I put the magnet. Let me back up. Okay, first of all, if you're going to measure by hand, all right, and do the drawing tool that TradingView provides, click on the magnet, because you really need to get the exact high-low price ranges, because that's our measurable range. That's our measurable level of possibility. We're looking for 886 down here. Again, that's depending on exactly where we're pulling off of the low. We can go 886 of, yeah, roughly like 635. B point, let me improve that, get that right on the number. Let's get the C point right on the number. Let's be exact. So your BC level's at 2.0. It's about as much as you want to see. If we bring in, here's something interesting. So if we bring that magnet on and we get our B point here on Coinbase at a 56.7%, we know the Gartley is at a 61.8. It's pretty close within our tolerance. Usually the Gartley tolerance is plus minus 3%. It can be 64.8, 58.8. This is 56.7. What's the possibility it's a 786? You know, if that's a Gartley, and let's just assume that would be a 786, okay? Well, your 786 does line up with your other numbers at around 1100. The other consideration possibility that you have your A to B leg and C to D puts you, pretty close to that level. I think that's just a touch under your current level here, your ABCD completion point basically hitting. So there's some numbers here. Does that mean it's an opportunity? No. It means that we start the process of looking. Really quick, before I go any further, let me show something here. I want to get into really quick. Want to show the sequence, and let's just do the business really quick. Go to Harmonic Trader and become a basic member. Okay, sign up here. That's where you start. You get all of your information. Get access to the TradingView program. A couple people contacted me about other platforms like Thinkorswim and MetaTrader, eSignal. I believe those are fantastic. eSignal, and I will be using that today, is the Cadillac version, as they say, or Lamborghini for today's kids. All the bells and whistles there. But the TradingView platform, because it's got the crypto feeds and it has the web-based version that I think is easily accessible to try it, is the best way to start. The others require the download and setup, and even like eSignal, you got to pay for the data, but won't take long for you to put this together and start seeing all the patterns that we've talked about. Let me go back here. Go to the 5-minute. We were talking about the 5-minute on Tuesday. I'll get to those in a second, but start there. And then when you're ready to subscribe for gold members and silver members, check the recordings. So I'm uploading, 3 ideas a week. We've got our monthly reports. Strategy sessions are coming back, but that's after you take all of the access the resources and then finally join the Discord group. Click in there. That's where it all begins for everyone, please. And take the time. Take your time. As I've said, you want 2 weeks, great. At the end of the 2 weeks, if you want more time, then just send a note to support. The fees for the software, do check them out. They're pretty much, it's an ownership or annual lease. So check out that. But really important that you get that basic information so you understand when I rip through charts and I go and I line up setups, because there's a ton of setups we need to talk about today, that you're clear on what I'm saying here. Just because something will take more time doesn't mean we should be dismissive of the potential opportunity. What happened to the major 886s on the indexes? Yeah, it's going to take time. What do you think it looks like after today? I mean, another down day. Nasdaq was down 300, trying to rally it back. Look, we got a whole summer to get through. This stuff takes time, folks. The problem is that very easy to be dismissive of the market and then not be ready when it happens. You know, you're sitting there waiting for it to happen, and then you just kind of snooze on it because it gets so one-sided. It certainly feels like it's about as ugly of an environment. The malaise that I started talking about last August is in full bloom. And go back to my sessions from last summer. Personally, I was personally affected by the whole Afghanistan thing. I thought that was just a terrible sign. And, you know, regardless of politically, that it really wasn't what I was intending. I was really meaning that current leadership just doesn't care. They just don't care. And they don't care about the market. They don't care about crypto. It will all continue to move forward on its own. That's the thing about the markets that are amazing through history. You look at all the challenges, you look at all of the different situations that have gone down where you would think the market would implode under a world war, or would implode with the United States moving off the gold standard in 74, or implode after 9/11. No. They did their move, they did their correction, and then the markets naturally resolved themselves. Took time, but that's what we want to be prepared for. You got Bitcoin 70 plus 80%, Ethereum 80% off their all-time highs. What are they going to go? 99? 90? Maybe. Maybe these could go 90%. Corrections. Are they going to go completely out of business? Unlikely. You know, that's our job. Our job is to essentially line up our patterns, locate them within the zone, and say, okay, what's the price? This is oversold, yes. But what is the optimal price to be taking advantage of oversold conditions? Is it all the way down at the hop at 325 on Ethereum on the daily? Is that where this is going? Or is it at the 886 at 1280? I said that's a ridiculously wide range, and why we need some kind of confirmation variable in this area. Not to mention even some basic price action, stabilization, 3-bar reversal, something to give us some early signs. Our sign this past week, absolutely on the daily, has been the counter HSI signal. I say counter because it's an HSI signal that is opposed to the primary pattern, bullish pattern, and then you run right into this bearish pink candle in the zone. And what that says is going to come back and take more time. I've been really clear on that. Probably going to do a strategy video specifically on it. Your indicator looks like this, HSI for the daily, and we can just follow this down. This is why Harmonic Strength Index for me has become the #1 pattern confirmation variable, that we have to wait until that comes in. We could drop a couple more days in a serial fashion, which is the other common character we see when you're dealing with this kind of phenomenon. A big, beautiful, bullish zone that has a little blast reaction, but then runs right into an oversold or overbought condition. Needs more time. That's what you're looking at, and should be dropping day over day until we register an HSI on the downside. Pretty clear now as well. Your amplified RSI will give you a test. Maybe today. You would want to see it today. You want to see this thing come in today, and then some kind of inflection maybe tomorrow. You know, today's the last day of the month, last day of the quarter. They're going to let it all out. James is asking which platform would I recommend for futures. NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader is a great program because it has all the bells and whistles, and you can execute off of NinjaTrader. One of the things that they do have that's good is their Dorman Capital. If you set up an account to trade futures with Dorman Capital, they waive the fee for the cost of the software for their main platform. Ours is an add-on, So you have to get that additionally. But I think that's a good one. You know, Ninja, I should pull up Ninja one of these days. Yeah. Hey, Ziggy, definitely. Ziggy saying even the 6 month candle. I agree with that. You know, your monthly, here's the monthly. Let's look at a monthly on all of this stuff. Monthly candle for Ethereum, and I'll get to the other ones. I mentioned this on Tuesday. Oversold. I mean, in fact, your monthly on that one is oversold, but Amplified is going to register. Amplified is in the oversold zone. Amplified RSI right here. Let's blow that up. Looks like this. And that's a critical point that, again, let it flush out a little bit more. But I want to start looking for an inflection. Unless this thing, look, the thing to be watching out for is, does it just continue the expansion into the zone? And I mean, we need to look starting tomorrow, or can we get an inflection out? That monthly chart is going to rule this whole trend. What it does here in the next 2 weeks, I've been saying the next 2 weeks for a while, is going to tell us how deep. That's why we're looking now. And I don't think I could have been clearer on the need for the check back on the daily and weekly. Hasn't come out yet. Need to be aware of all of this. With the monthly, probably even smoother chart. You know, go something like this. And here's something to consider as well. All right, if we're going to look at the monthly chart, let's say that was a Gartley. I think I mentioned this on Monday. We would need to see this pattern be 30 bars. One of the challenges always when you're differentiating like a bat pattern versus a Gartley, that B point is so essential to defining how deep the retracement will be. Again, is it a 786 or an 886? One of the ways to know is how many bars. Where's 30 bars? If we're here, go back 30 bars. 27. All right, 30 bars is there. So we would have to start on that candle from a monthly. Another way to think about it. And if we're going to pull from there, all right, your B point doesn't quite line up properly. Again, you're more like 56.3. You're more of a, it's very close, but you're more of a bat, leaning towards the bat. You do have an ABCD, and then that 886 would, again, just another way to structurally try to think about connecting dots. Listen, I've done this with the algorithms, so all of the algorithms do this automatically. I'm pretty much giving them away in terms of logically to explain it. But for those that are going to manually try to do this, these are other considerations that, you know, there's a lot going on here. But I'm trying to get you to realize that the framework is defined by price, by proportion, and by time. And what the time tells us, we've got 4 of the 5 elements, 4 of the 5 points coming together. This tells us that we should be looking for this soon. I'm not saying it's a buy at any time yet, but you're a lot closer to that opportunity than you have been. And the way that it's acting now is falling right in line with the way we've been talking about it for weeks, if not months. Now, on the flip side, this resolution, yeah, could come within the next, I would say, 2-3 weeks to 2 to 3 months. But I would certainly, within the next 3 months, be looking for this to bottom out. And monthly is a good one to look at, where you can wait for that monthly to trigger, and it might trigger higher than the actual low, but between the two indicators being so oversold, especially amplified on the monthly, starting tomorrow, we have to watch these week over week, day over day. Let's look at Bitcoin really quick. Same deal. Okay, Bitcoin doing just horrible downtrend, monthly, nothing stopping this. And the same, nothing has changed on the 886. Just taking more time. If anything, God, look at that. Look at this amplified RSI just swimming. Refuses to come out of the oversold. More time. That's how we read it. Now, let's just connect dots again. Go off our 2020 COVID low and prior bat. Yep, right there. All the way up. There. You're at a 46. Let me fix that. That's actually not right. You're 886 here. Come on. Let me fix that. Yeah, there you go. So another 55% off the 2020 low. This one's a little bit further extended because of the low point. And yeah. Oh, it's the magnet. That's what's screwing me up. Looks like that. Connect your dots, puts you at around 11,000. I got 11.2 on this one. That's buy bit. That's why. I think that's, depending on your data feed, look, nothing's changed there. If anything, with this monthly close, you're going to close not only, let's look at the individual bars, because that's the other thing we've been assessing as we continue to drop here, that you're going to close below last week's close, last week's low, the prior 2-week range close, and then what happens here under 17.6? There's nothing. There's nothing there. I mean, it's air. And remember this, we were talking about this 10 days ago. Just doing a measurement on the individual bar. You just go to the high to low. Okay, and barely a 50% retracement on that. Interestingly enough, if you go down to another, like a 1618 off of that little bump range, puts you a lot closer down to your 11.5, 11.8, certainly under 12,000 is your big 886 target. And this is just bleeding, continue to bleed. So think about, just keep that in mind. Ask yourself, what is Harmonic Strength Index doing at these low levels? Has it come out? Nope. Has it been confirmed by Amplified? No. And so I would expect at least another week or 2 weeks to do its thing and then come out. One of the considerations is that if it doesn't drop in now, doesn't do the flush now, like let's say we just screw around for several weeks, many weeks, and we get some kind of nominal rally out of here, I just think that would delay the inevitable. Maybe you get it like a counter trend bump up and then a final move down. That's the only variation of this whole scenario that I could see. And we do have precedent for it. Kind of like what we saw back here in 2019. You had a little bump up and then down on that final move to hit the 886. Let's go to Coinbase. That's a better feed. Where's Coinbase? Come on. There's Coinbase. That's the only thing I would really expect when you're at this point here, right before that COVID low. You had a little bump up and down. I don't think so. It's more like it's more like this bat pattern where we just went into a vicious grind. And we probably could get a couple of weeks down. You hit your 886 and then trigger. Certainly two of the two major patterns that marked the low for Bitcoin were bat patterns. They hit a relative 886. Also, notice, okay, the 50% level lined up perfectly with that X point. That's how we know. That's how you know the proportional move. Also, your BC down to the 2.0 was a 2.0, 707 on the top side for both of them. These were identical patterns proportionally. And we have another one. All right. And Bitcoin, even with this 2.0, I mean, look at, we should not be surprised if we see this BC level. There's A to B, B to C. And then, so if it's going to be like the last two bat patterns, well, we should see a minimum 2.0 move. We hit that. Where's 2.0? 2.0 was 18,100 minimum. And they were overrun. But they served as important minimums down to your 886. So again, all of that does not nothing changes there. Nothing. That's the larger framework. Do we drop in there into some kind of crash scenario and then rebound? That would be like most of the other times of some kind of major 3-week flush, month flush into the low. I think you're going to get it. I mean, it just, look, the fact that this stuff is still going to languish here is going to take time. Looking at, again, for Bitcoin, the only consideration would be to see if Bitcoin comes down, gives you a W, complex structure, and goes up to the 50 level, and then maybe later in the year comes back down for that final retest. Something like that. Something like that. So the next week or two, you need time. James is saying he's still waiting for a dead cat bounce. Yeah, I'd buy that. You know, that's would be your complex reaction. Look, you'd get a complex formation and it would react up to the 50 and come back down. I don't think that's anything to be surprised about. Let's talk one or two of the coins I was mentioning last session that did exactly what we were talking about and are now approaching those major levels. Here's Sandbox. Okay, it was 130. Massive weekly bat pattern. Okay, last week, your first confirmation on the weekly. The official check back at about 80 cents. That would be pretty steep, but we're checking back. We're doing the exact check back we talked about. And I would look after this week for Sandbox. Can we get back down to 80 cents and that be the final retest trigger? That's what I'm planning on. Something in this range. It's close. Look at your daily. This is the other thing. Another bearish HSI in a bullish zone. Beautiful. I mean, the daily pattern here, if you wanted to get into the metaverse, all right, you would be, I mean, a year ago, you would have prayed for a big bat pattern like this. The first shot, first area we would look, gave you a dud reaction. That's okay. Not a problem. The fact that it's coming back now, all right, we can get another check back, even on the daily, about 78, 79 cents. All of that I talked about last week. And check out what HSI is doing when you look at the chart. Coming in, all right, on this retest, we want to see the next HSI. My feeling is it's going to be quick. The way this is coming off sharply, want to see that retest quickly. Also, here's amplified RSI broken up. You have your W formation right there. It's a nice W, leads to a reactive move. That's classic. I mean, that's just, when you see a W formation in the oversold and then a blast up like that, that's reaction all the way. And you still need to retest. And that's what, look, we're under the 50 today. That's where things really start to accelerate. You get under the 50, you start to head back down. You need to register another oversold. Put those two together on Sandbox and you will be able to locate this when it's time. I think A retest, I mean, it was what, 73, 74 cents at the low. Your prior HSI was around 79. For me, that's where I'm looking. I would be looking in that level. Massive pattern for another HSI confirmation. The Joker's saying, he's asking, can I call this actual situation accumulation phase? No, definitely not. It's not accumulation phase. We're looking for what is called accumulation phase, where the downtrend stops, and you start a stabilization, and then the buyers start to come in and take a little bit more control over the sellers. But we're looking for the start of that. We're looking for the start. Where could that start? It's probably going to start in, like I said, 2 weeks, 10 days. If we can get down and register on these checkbacks, that final trigger. But it's, it's going to take time. And yes, it can go lower. It could go below these levels, but you're entering into that final stage. You're in the zone. You completed the pattern. You threw up one confirmation, stiff reaction. Now you're just coming back down for a secondary test. And that's where I want to be paying attention in this level. No opportunity yet. Yeah, I like that. Ziggy's saying he's buying Sandbox on the next low. Look, if you're a crypto crazy head and you believe in the metaverse and these are going to be the big plays, these are some of the best harmonic pattern opportunities that you had in a while. The only problem is that they're giving you dud reactions. Mana, Decentraland, okay, same deal. Your initial trigger was 74 cents. It came up to $1 and change, 108, 107, coming back down for the retest. And I would be waiting for another retest to trigger a HSI, and that's already 2/3 of the way down. That could happen pretty quickly. And are amplified right there. Those next triggers are what I want to be paying attention to. So I agree. And even though we have a little ways to go, even percentage-wise, I would want to be lining this up and let that come to you. There's a whole bunch of them. The other one this one, Matic did a big surge. I mean, it was perfect. We looked at this last week, and just right off the hop level at 29 cents. Again, a counter HSI signal. And if you see this on doesn't matter what the time frame, 5 second, 5 minute, weekly, daily. I mean, this is a basic strategy here where there's the completion of the pattern. And most people that don't know the proper dynamics about harmonic patterns usually are probably going to stick their order right there at the completion of XA. No, please don't. What we're looking for is completion of the pattern. And then show me where the confirmation is. It's right there. That's your starting point for the actionable opportunity. Now with Matic, you had a 7-day, 8-day up move, registered oversold, and broke down. That's where you scalp it, take it out. I said that on Tuesday and Monday, and look for more time in the zone, come back down, retest these lower levels. But you're close. Do these go to zero? Do these go to zero? I just think that, you have to ask yourself, is your crypto going to go to zero or what? Or do you want to stick with the big ones that have some kind of appeal to the masses, where people aren't going to abandon their over-leveraged companies and products like Three Arrows and the other ones and Celsius? Get those out of there. And in fact, the more you see that, the closer you are to flushing this out. So let's absolutely pay attention. Let's let this come in. You need it oversold. One more oversold reading. And then light switch goes on. But until then, no. Just give it time. Quickly, I'll jump over to total. That hasn't changed either. In fact, it's down amazingly like 100 billion since we had that trigger. and we registered that reading. And all the arrows pointing down, HSI coming down. This is still a BAM scenario where your 886 all time, even go all the way back. You can go all the way back to there. Puts you around 450 billion. Let's clean up the chart. We'll connect dots. This is a lot like Bitcoin. I mean, these are identical to Bitcoin, but let's draw the M formation. Start at the COVID low. Oh, let's get the magnet on. Like that. And just go like that. High to low. There's X to A. B point. Right there. Right there. 52%. C point. 44.7%. So we know it's a bat. And we need to get the A, B, C, D minimum. So A to B, C to D has to be 1 to 1. And that, along with our 886, still gets us to about, $440 billion. If I can get that. Yeah, 440, not 450, 440. That's the BAM completion, 886 test. And go to your confirmation metrics on the total crypto cap. Looks like HSI is coming out, trying to. But until that does, I would say take a look Sunday night where this is. Take a look at amplified. Another pretty clear signal. This is going to give you a W formation and then come out. But what do we know about complex formations? They usually lead to reactions, and they're going to take more time to develop in terms of price. So even if that takes 1 or 2 bars to get out of the zone, it's not going to do much in terms of a reversal behavior until that is established. Yeah. How come crypto markets get close to opportunity and stocks are in the middle of a retracement? Are they correlated? No, crypto is, listen, the major markets are down. Nasdaq's down 30%. The Dow, S&P down 20 something percent. Crypto across the board. Find me a crypto that's not down 50%. Find me a crypto that's not down 70%. I think you have to look at that comparatively. These are minimums. Okay, this is the framework we're trying to really assess. And I still say that if it's 2 more weeks before these can get out of the zone, I still say that you'll have several weeks to go sideways. You might rally off the low, or who knows? Maybe we get a big collapse like we did in the COVID situation where it takes 3 more weeks and just a straight down absolute brutal assault on those lower targets. That is possible. It could get extremely ugly here, hit those numbers, and then the whole harmonic light switch goes on. So that's why I want to be thinking that down at those levels. But until you're at those levels, and I was real clear on Tuesday and Monday about what was shaping up with the daily HSI, that would push it in a serial fashion, bar over bar, day over day, lower, and we're in that acceleration down. It's tough. It's not an easy place to be, but that's what's happening. And within the harmonic pattern framework, yes, major patterns are taking shape. But, it's a lot like, I would say 2019, 2020 with this bat pattern. Okay, and I remember distinctly a lot of people who were big crypto fans, Bitcoin fans, were pretty sure that this move here, that prior low and then that low there, was the start of a big wave, and then you got the COVID crash that took it back down to retest the 886, retest those prior lows. That is something common to all technical analysis support in the resistance zones. You need an initial inflection, secondary test to confirm that level. And when we put a pattern between the 2 points and you get the proportions to connect the dots, you've got something, a major, as I like to say, a signpost of future price action. It's one of the first kind of observations that I made about harmonic patterns, is that they are a potential reversal. They have a zone, okay? But it still needs other elements to define that. I mean, that's the price side of things. We also need an indicator confirmation, and you need a corresponding reaction. I mean, we need to see that hit these levels and develop. As far as the markets, I'll get to the markets in a few moments, but this is, where you can grind down lower to retest these initial signals. I don't know. I mean, I think maybe I confuse people by trying to talk about that zone of, really what I was trying to talk about, and still am with the bullish zones, is that you are in a place where the serial decline, the week over week, month over month, day over day action will only accelerate until you hit those targets. You'll get maybe a short-term bounce here and there, but until these larger metrics register, you have to just respect that downtrend. And sometimes it's a quick inflection. Other times it drags. Let's look at Cardano really quick, because this is another one. All-time 886 is about 38 cents. We talked about the weekly check back, which has been achieved, retesting that around 46 cents. And same on your daily, you had a couple of signals here. They've all come back down to those levels. Is there anything there? Not on the daily. 4-hour time frame. Okay. Cardano I find's pretty interesting. Gartley, but doing nothing. Not doing much. Maybe around 43 cents for this Gartley, if you could get some kind of confirmation, but it's not giving you what you want to see. And the point also being that on every time frame it works the same way. Here you have a nice Gartley doing nothing, going sideways. How many days? How many bars? I mean, there's the completion. You're 100 bars away from that Gartley. By 30 bars, you tell me, it's a dud. No reaction. Couldn't even get to target 1. Comes back down. That happens, but you have to look at, say, what's going on with amplified RSI with Cardano. Is that out of the zone yet? Nope. And that can stay in the zone for as long as it wants until it does pop, and you don't even have HSI registering. Those little things that don't line up are important. How come the Gartley is in the ABCD category for your software? That's Ziggy's asking a question about why the ABCD is combined with the Gartley. It's just, it's how we had to compile the patterns so that we could fit it all into one pattern. What he's talking about is we have our combo version here, that the HPC combo. All right, that is the pattern finder. So when you load that, they all come together, and we pack them together. So because before we had to load the patterns individually, this is just the way that we combined them. But I understand the confusion there. Shouldn't we focus, another question, should we focus our time and energy on U.S. index funds, since money will only enter speculation after money enters real businesses that make money, unless you're shorting crypto, I guess? Well, look, clearly, most of the people in here are talking crypto first. A lot of people are doing all markets, and the crypto markets for Bitcoin and Ethereum, yeah, they're relevant, they're important. The other markets like Nasdaq and Dow, stuff like that, yeah, we apply the same metrics. Okay, they're usually going to take longer. The crypto space is going to be a lot more volatile. I agree with that. And again, these can be shorted. We talked about shorting them. But what my point here on the crypto space is that that could complete in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Still going to take a whole bunch of time before you get a real change in the trend and acceleration, but you could hit your harmonic targets pretty quickly. Still take time, but as we've seen, let's see what happens when Bitcoin gets under 17,000. Ethereum drops under the 980 low, or excuse me, 880 low. And does that flush? Because that could flush. And we've seen that kind of capitulation across the board in prior market declines. You almost would, even though you're just kind of grinding lower for Bitcoin, I would love to see, a 30, 50% correction inside of a month to flush it out and just go down, 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 down in terms of the sheer price action to get, I think what we're all looking for is capitulation. From a technical standpoint, you want to see the market capitulate. Another question: logarithmic or standard arithmetic charts. The log scale is incredible to me because a lot of people, they say if in doubt zoom out. Well, they zoom out, and then when they get into more doubt, they go to the log, and then everyone like Plan B and everyone does their log scale going way back, so because it makes it doesn't look as severe. I mean that looks a lot less painful than say a arithmetic chart. No, take the log out. I think that's stick with the standard chart. The log scale, yeah, you can look at that. We did get a big pattern there on both that were registered. Look at these 886s and the way the algos picked them up. That's on log scale, but log scale is not real. Doesn't really serve you well when every $1,000 matters. If $1,000 lower doesn't matter to you, use log. I just think there's a lot of self-justification going on with these log charts in the crypto space. Yeah. Hey, Lou. Lou is saying Bloomberg says people are looking at Bitcoin as a measure for risk, but really, and Nasdaq and DXY. I agree. I mean, Nasdaq. What are we going to do on Nasdaq? Are we in this grind? I mean, starting to get into a grind here, much like we had in 2000 with that bear market in the Nasdaq. I'm going to go there in a minute. 2 minutes. Here's the other one I wanted. The other altcoin that we just featured on Tuesday. We featured a bunch of these, ideal patterns with the whole phenomenon of the HSI back in the zone. And here's my favorite, Chili's. Okay. We talked about why this confirmation came in at around, 7-8 cents, and then led to that immediate bearish HSI signal. Look, that pink arrow here lines up with that overbought signal there, which is all reaction. So that you look at that and you say reaction, especially when you're in the zone, and let's say you were targeting somewhere in here, or let's say you didn't know and you were looking back here at the XA level. Well, you see a bearish HSI running counter to your pattern. Be ready for more time, more consolidation. And I would want to see HSI come back down on Chili's until I consider it as a viable alternative. And we have a hop level at 5 cents. So this will be kind of our poster child of S coins. Will the Chili's go to 5.4 cents? There's a few that have already done that and more. Hex, namely. Hex looks like it's, that'll be, I can't even believe I said that, but it's just, Hex is this one of these that so much hype. It's unbelievable. I don't even know. I mean, it's because of the guy, but it doesn't matter. look, we're here to measure the market, apply the harmonic pattern framework, and essentially separate all other noise from that analysis. Tell me what Hex is doing, your whatever this is, pulse chain, whatever. Hey, beautiful pattern. Awesome pattern right there that completed at 4 cents. You did have confirmation after the fact, but not really in the zone. No matter what, we generated a bearish HSI that will take you back into this zone until it can develop another counter confirming signal. And I think it's a classic case study in narrative over analysis, where your narrative is, this is so much better than Bitcoin and everything else that these people say. Well, I'm sorry, that is 96% off its all-time high, almost 97% its all-time high, and still is going to go lower until you trigger. Yet the guy keeps telling you it's better than Bitcoin. I just look at performance. I look at numbers. So I don't know what this Hex thing is, but I know that until that registers lower and gets oversold again, that I wouldn't touch it. And it could go to a penny. It could go to 2 pennies. It's not worth it. But it's a classic example of respecting what the signals are saying in a bullish zone. It says you got problems here until you can work it out. All right, enough of that. Enough. Let's get to, let me bring over Harmonic Pattern Collection for Trading View, e-signal. This is the Cadillac, I feel. Ninja, Sierra charts, MetaTrader. They're very similar to this. But let's go over to Nasdaq Daily. Maybe Ziggy's saying Hex has a nice weekly pattern, but no confirmation. No confirmation. And that's what we're all going to learn. We are all going to learn the importance of patterns with the trend, against the trend, and patterns that fail to have confirmation. Now, the only thing that we've been talking about for a long time has been the crab pattern on here. There you go. Let me take that out. Let me take out the ABCD. There's the crab pattern. Sweet. Beautiful. Hop level 11,848. Tried to rally. Nope. Rolling right back over again. How many bars? We're like bar 40, bar 50 since the official completion of Nasdaq. At the 1618 was 12,884, but we threw that out the window way back in late April, early May, when this thing was rolling back over. No confirmation, no confirmation. Finally, confirmation down there. Well under the hop. Yeah, it's ugly, but I'll still draw my line, and I'll still say that, hey, Nasdaq has to come back and check back on that level. That's right around 11,000, 11,100. I thought we were going to get there this morning, quite frankly. But look at your indicators. All right, almost a perfect overbought reading on HSI. And look at the other indicators that are shaping up. Here's standard RSI. Can't get through the 50. Can't get through the 50. And each one of them, look, there's a bearish HSI signal in the bullish zone. And another one that almost registered but didn't get all the way down there. Not good. Not good for a bullish argument. If anything, setting up for another rollover, take you lower. And the important thing to do is you got to go to your weekly. If your daily or whatever your primary time frame is, if it's failing, then you have to default to the higher time frame. For this case, weekly. We know what the deal is here. The weekly does have an HSI. You're trying to check back, stabilize this little pink arrow right there. Draw that line around 11.6. All right. The other, development that needs to happen is minimum at this point, you would want to see a bullish ABCD off the top. There's A to B leg. It's not there yet, but you go from 16.8 all the way down to 12.8. Let's call it 6,000 points. Sorry, 4,000 points. 4,000 points off of this high. Okay, that minimum 8.8, minimum 4,000 to get your equal legs puts you essentially right where we hit 2 weeks ago, around 11.4. But that's only a first structural point. I think it's, look at your indicators of what they're doing here. Okay, HSI triggered a couple weeks ago, but amplified, heading back down into the zone. I mean, these little things matter. Can't get up, can't get up. You do have, let me just do it this way. I'm watching what it does by the close tomorrow. You're trying to get out of the zone. But if this does flush one more time and goes lower, that should be where then your weekly levels and the full 886, this full structural retest comes in off the COVID low, like here. From there to there, run your spread. You're at the 50 level, but 886 here is at 78.58. I think that's something where even if we break down, let's say we break under 11,000. For me, that would be it. I mean, there's just total failure under 11,000. You could just straight line that once you get there. Break under the prior low, and I think we're already there. It tells us 38. What is that? Basically almost 4,000 points lower, 3,800 points lower to get to that 886. That gets you the bat formation. That is a minimum level. You retrace basically 2 years, 3 years of action. Hex has outperformed Bitcoin since inception, like 250 to 1. Look, hey, if I was there at the first day of Bitcoin, I would have outperformed everything. But look, all the people that have come into that space on Hex, and Hex isn't the only one. I'm not trying to isolate and solo out Hex, but we've seen a lot of the shenanigans. Okay, if you're going to attack other markets and try to tout, one coin that's better than the rest, and not be real about, what has it done in the last year? You're down 90-something%, and you still have people talking the same narrative. That's a problem for me. That leads people down a ditch. For me, until I get the signals, I don't care. I really don't care. I mean, I wish all the Hexicans the best. I hope they can make millions. But what's the chart say? Yeah, I mean, okay, Pulse Dent has got, obviously you're a Hexican. There's clear price suppression on Hex. Sure, there's price suppression in the markets. There's price suppression in the gold and silver markets because JP Morgan likes to run that show. But it doesn't matter. For us, little fish out here, not whales, but we're all little fish, okay? We're trying to get our bites. And in our bites of opportunity that we're looking for, to have some guy say, hey, it's better than Bitcoin when it's down 96% off its all-time high. Look, pets.com talked like that. All the busted .coms were talking like that in 2000, and then 2 years later they were gone, or they were fractions of whatever, fractions of a penny in bankruptcy. Believe me, we are not far away from this flush. I think it's going to happen. I think we will flush down to the levels, and some won't make it. I don't know. I'm not going to say exactly who, but I'll just look at the top 5 or 10 and focus on those guys. And even some of those, like we've seen in Luna, could easily fall out and never come back. It's a critical time, folks. I mean, it's as every market professional that has been doing this more than 10 years that I know has never seen an overall macro environment quite like what we have. Not to mention we've got inflation and a lot of negatives that work against all markets that most people haven't even lived through, not in their careers at least. And the old timers that were around, they're squeamish. They would almost be called conspiracy theorists in today's world with what they're saying. And half of it I do believe. So it doesn't matter. I mean, really, you have to ask yourself, okay, where am I within the framework to define the opportunity? Am I closer to the target? Do I have clear confirmation? All of the ingredients that come together to define an opportunity? And we're still plenty of time away. But for Nasdaq, okay, you're this 11.7 that your only number you want to assess really is 11,700 on the weekly, because that's the 50% retracement, and every firm on the street can do that calculation. They can look at that and say, all right, 50% correction of the COVID low, or 30% off of the high already. Okay, if it goes much more than that, that's where then you could be looking at major bear targets. I think we'll get there. I think, this 8,000 level, and give yourself a full 50% haircut, wouldn't be out of the ordinary. It would be actually historically fit in lines with historic norms. And we're now in the summertime. So malaise is taking shape that we very well could be staring this in the face of July getting worse, August, and into a September kind of catastrophe. So the verdict is Kirill is asking, so the verdict for an NQ, we either go to the 50 or go to 8K. No, I think eventually we get to the 886 at 8K. We might bounce here. We're trying to. You have a few things here, but it's not acting in a real constructive, bullish way that would overpower the last 8 months of downtrend. I mean, think of it this way. Okay, average bear market, basically 12 to 15 months. You are, from the top to the low, and this is average. All right, so that would put us somewhere into November this year, December, early January. From a historic time perspective, you're already there on price. And Lou's got a great comment here. Thank you, Lou. We got the 80%. Yeah, in 2001, you got 80%. And it was, I mentioned this maybe a month or two ago. Let's do it on the index, because the futures only go back. They don't go back far enough. But let's look at the Nasdaq Composite Index, because that shows you. And if you haven't looked at these charts, please just do a little historical research. Look at how this stuff in, say, 2008 and 2000 shaped up. Okay, because they were different creatures. Here's 2000, and beautiful bat pattern. I mean, this is the kind of thing I want to see on my software. Forget everything else. Okay, I mean, we had major patterns software was generating. Here it is. And I have mentioned this before, that there's so many similarities to what's going on of the Y2K thing, that in 2000 it was all about Y2K. End of the world, Y2K, computers are going to shut off. So we need to throw hundreds of billions at tech companies that need to fix a couple digits. And as soon as that was no longer an issue, and here's where 2000 came in. Okay, right there's January 2000. A little pop up, and then it went all the way back down. Now this one, check it out. There's your 50 level right there. And we got to the BAM, the 886 at 1787. But that was a minimum objective. Minimum. Still took better part of a year or more to get out of there. And I've done this. I've basically did this workup before. This is the starting point. And if this was Bitcoin, let's do it this way, okay? If it's, let me just take out the pattern. So, and then we'll bring the pattern back here in a second. Yep, let me do it this way. If this is Bitcoin, if this is, come on. There you go. Let's take out the bat. If it's Nasdaq, same deal. Here's the situation. If we're Bitcoin and there's your low with your pattern to go to the 886, you're like there or like here. Maybe here with one more flush to go. Maybe that's 17,000 and this is 11,000 on the Dow, something like that. Go back to the pattern. All right, just to get a little context of what that looks like. Come on. Where'd it go? Bring that back in. Where'd you go? Hold on, hold on. Let me bring this back in here. I deleted the patterns. There you go. Bring it back in. All right, good. So you're there. And there's the 886. That would be currently the 886 at 1787 from back in 2000. Okay, that's your 7,000 mark. And you're trading 11,000. All right? So relatively speaking, on Nasdaq, you're like there. 2,800, 2,700 on your way down all the way to the minimum target of the 886. Still took a lot of time. I mean, took months. Took months to be realized and even bottom out. And look what happened here, folks. I mean, you registered the pattern, you generated the pattern, you still move sideways for a year or lower until finally breaking out of the downtrend. And then look, you went into a 10-year, I mean, really a decade-long tech wreck. Yes, in 2008 on the Nasdaq, it was a little bit different than, say, the Dow and the S&P because this was already depressed. But check it out. I mean, it's 87% from the high to low. And that's what I'm looking at. Do we have Richard Hart in here? I think you got to be Richard Hart because he's about the only one that talks about pulse chain and hex like this. We'll save hex from Ethereum and it'll save every other. If it's Richard Hart, what's up, Richard? Pleased to meet you. Because I think this is Rich. I think Pulse Dent is Richard Hart in here. The way you're talking. Because not even any hexagon would talk like this. The hexagons, if you're a hexagon holding your hex, how are you not crying? Being down 97%. Richard, please. Hey, man, I called you badass before because you are. You pulled off an amazing crypto that went up tens of thousands of percent. But now it's back down. So tell us why. Really, please tell us why that we need to be, this is going to be the savior of crypto. Then is crypto going to be around in a couple of years? Or the Fed's going to come in and just jack it all with CBDCs and ACDCs and all that, and basically make crypto a technology that's like, generic. I think it's Richard Hart. Everyone, say hi to Richard Hart. He is in the chat. He's got to be. That's got to be you, Richard. I saw the interview with the Playboy model. That was pretty impressive. So, for everyone else that's here, that's pure to your technicals, to the chart analysis, to making your own decisions. That's what I'm all about. I'm all about helping people to make their own decisions by showing them the harmonic natural framework. Even with all the crap going on, folks, with all the crap going on right now, okay, I've seen it before. Look, this is going to work itself out naturally. Even if Putin's going to drop a couple nukes in Europe, which maybe he will. Well, don't put it past the guy. This is absolutely a very ugly macro environment. But I'm telling you, even if that happens, the markets, everything will work itself out. We just don't have the harmonic signals that give us what we need to tell us, hey, there's opportunity. There was opportunity in the Nasdaq in 2002. Yeah, you could have bought a lot of stocks at their lows, but then they didn't do anything for years, Microsoft being one of them. But that's my objective. Cut through the crap, help people make their own decisions, and assess what is possible. And right now, the possibilities aren't great. That's what we left everybody with on Tuesday, especially with that crypto imploding. Want to be aware of all of that. I mean, look, not a nice time. If you really care about the country, care about the world, seems like there's a whole lot of morons on both sides not doing us any good. But hey, we can do good by our own selves through the markets. But people that are going to shill 96% losers and say they're going to save the world, well, Richard, come on, man. I'll have a discussion with you. You're welcome to talk on. You're a man of stature in the crypto industry. Let's talk. You can reach out to me, please. You can contact Stephanie HT, who's in here, and get your contact, and let's do a live stream together. Because I'd love to know how that rationale comes into play. How do you explain to somebody that bought Hex at 50 cents or 30 cents or even 20 cents when I was saying it was a sell and I got a bunch of garbage from that and it dropped 80% since then? Folks, we're coming into a critical time. Today, end of June, end of the quarter, the worst quarter, okay? This is the worst quarter, worst 6 months, worst quarter in decades. You are registering numbers that you haven't seen in any of your lifetimes. And unless you're a total chart nerd like me, maybe you guys are chart nerds, and that's a cool thing to be. Nerd is a cool thing. But, we've got to study history here to get the percentage comparison. And that tells us, you got a lot more to go before we can trigger anything. That's my concern here. And getting in on this when it's clearly continuing to drop. Hey, if Bitcoin had hit 11,000 and Ethereum hit 680 and they were setting up and all those major numbers registered, great. Then you'd be a lot closer. I want to look, we need to get to this part. We need to get to this part here. Okay? On your big weekly. We need to complete the bat pattern. Because this is the model for Bitcoin, for Nasdaq, crypto in general. You triggered the BAM, right? We all know that we triggered the BAM, the bat action magnet move. This is crypto. This is Nasdaq. How long do we take till we get to the 886? And that's only a starting point. That's important. Is this going to happen quickly? And then register and spend, 6 months going sideways or what? Ideally, you'd want to see a reaction reversal come back in. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for just the final completion of this wave. Utilize the 2000 Nasdaq bear market as the model. And look what that did. Okay, because that 886, and we knew about the 886 way back when, that was our only target left. Was it 50%? No. Was it 618, 786? No, it just kept on failing and failing and failing. We got to the 886 and it stabilized, but it was a long way off before you could even think new bull cycle. Yeah, okay. Richard. Richard's saying the people that utilize his hex are staked for an average of 6 years. Yeah, they're locked in for 6 years. Okay, they're making 40% APY. All right, but where did they buy in? I mean, you guys and you crypto maniacs, I love you guys. I really do. But 40% APY on being down 90% or 80% or 50% doesn't matter. But I hope you reach out to me, Richard. I'd love to talk to you sometime. It's just that look, the DOC guys, the DCO guy, DCA, sorry, dollar cost averaging. Well, that's done. Okay, the Bitcoin adoption guys. Well, I think that's done. I think your three arrows collapse today shows you that. So I just is, we're and the problem that I've seen time and time again is you get to the end of the cycle where you didn't pay attention, and then you learn those lessons after the fact. I'm trying to point them out as they happen from the harmonic pattern perspective, which is my life. I believe in nature. I believe in natural cycles. I believe in harmonics. Give you the framework, the confirmation, the proper expectations no matter what. And when we lay a harmonic pattern framework on Nasdaq and the Dow, all of that, we're not in a good spot. Let's go back to Nasdaq futures and wrap it up here. I didn't intend to get into a big discussion with Richard Hart. Do you still have $1 billion at least? You got to tell me that. I mean, and if you have $1 billion, that means you must have been selling a shitload up at the top and buying back in. I don't know. Nasdaq 1 minute chart, 5 minute chart after today's announcements. Yeah, I mean, just bounce and roll, bounce and roll. Maybe this 11,668 is probably your top. You're at 607 at the moment. No reason why this doesn't just keep dropping. I mean, you're going to finish up the month. There's a 233 tick chart for today. You got nothing. It's going now. We're in the summer, which even seasonally, you've got a lot of seasonal disadvantages for the bullish cases. This is where I expect the meltdown to really happen, and it could get nasty. We roll over here and we continue to break down. Again, I think Nasdaq is the index. I wouldn't worry about the Dow so much. That will fall in line. That will follow here. Oh yeah, look at the two. Here's the 4-hour chart on NQ. So that rally up until last week, they tried to rally it from end of the month. I thought we'd come up a little bit higher. Nope. Take it right back down and under today's low, under that 11.3, forget about it. That's all I care about. Under 11,000 for Nasdaq will trigger the flush. Under 17,000 for Bitcoin will trigger the flush. Under 900, 980 on Ethereum, trigger the flush. It looks like it's coming fast. Really quick, I know I do need to get out of here, but a couple of you guys are clamoring about nat gas, what to do with nat gas. It's back down at the 6 level. Well, look at the daily chart. Look, it's at 566. $6 level is the support. 6 and 9, 6 and 9. If it's 566, that's fine. I'm not really too worried about that. I'm looking for the opportunity in energy. Weekly chart, like that. What do we have? Anything on the weekly? Yeah, weekly, this is the thing, really quick. Again, another reason why we want to look at HSI. Looks like this. All right, in the oversold zone. Wait for that to come out. Just like it did on the top side here. Just back in May. What was it? Not even 4 weeks ago we were looking at this. And it's led to a very stiff correction. But that's fine. Just get ready for when it triggers again on the weekly. Like it did here. And again, this reminds me of essentially what happened last fall, because we were on that nat gas move down here. Go back to the sessions from on the gold members page and look at what I was saying way back when in 2020, early 21. Nat gas was one of the strongest markets to be in. We had a massive move up, 50% correction, and then another massive move up, and another, well, maybe you get a 50% correction down to 450. That would be a little lower than I'd want to see, but I'm just waiting for that next oversold trigger to take shape. So, man, I know it's Richard. Richard, hey, at least Richard knows about harmonic patterns now. I'm glad that he's on our radar. I do think that it's that kind of narrative, and I'm glad that he's commenting because he's saying, okay, the crypto. He was saying that Richard was saying that he called the top in crypto, and he raised $30 million in charity. Dude, you should be raising $30 million in charity if you're billions. For tax purposes alone, you should be raising 30 billion. I mean, you can donate, you should have your own family foundation if that's the case. But again, the narrative versus price. We are doing price. At what price can the people know that this is an opportunity? And we do that for all markets the same way. Then that's what our job is as traders. Not narrative. Not, hey, my narrative is better than yours. Check it out. That's fine. Hey, I'm glad he commented. Welcome, Richard. Hopefully next time you log in under your real name. But check it out. Frank's asking, is there a way to make HSI alert on the column for eSignal? The way that you have pattern confirmations? Really quick, I'll show that. You can do that in the spreadsheet. Hold on. Bear with me. Let me bring up the the different. There it is. The scanner page. So what he's asking for is, can we do alerts like we do patterns on eSignal? You can. I don't want to be fishing around. I should bring that in maybe for Monday. Bear with me 1 second. If I can find it easily, I will pop it up here. We can do it on. You can do it on TradingView as well. Let me see. All right, here's the pattern scanner. Okay, great. This is talk about bells and whistles. eSignal has I think this most stable streaming alert system. Okay, and you can set this up. But again, go to the page, go to harmonictrader.com for more information. And again, you can try eSignal for free. I've been using eSignal for 4 years, since 1998. I've had a continuous subscription to them, and I've used this as my primary platform, and I use TradingView. But yeah, you can do that all in here and set the alerts. You can add your columns. You add the HSI in there. There are videos that describe how to set that up, and check out the eSignal manual as well. But that's a beautiful representation of all the patterns that we want to look for from a harmonic pattern perspective. Just to show everyone, the easiest way to do that is you click on number of bars and you go for the zeros. Like, all right, so right now, United Technologies, 3M, and Nike all have patterns. Why? Because they have the zero. Well, Nike is a bat pattern that completed 9 days ago. 3M looks like this. There you go, just to show you. And again, you can set those as alerts that will trigger, and you can email them, or they can be just standard results alerts on your platform. But yeah, okay, there you go. There's a crab pattern just completed. See how easy that is? That makes your life simple. There's a pattern that has completed. It has confirmation. Is it What's Amplified doing? What are your other indicators doing? Are they agreeing? Not that I wanted to spend much time on it, but look, there's Amplified RSI. There's HSI. Have they confirmed yet? That's the only question you have to ask yourself. Do you have a confirmation variable at the pattern completion? If you do, then you're looking for the opportunity to trigger. Maybe a 1 bar, 3 bar reversal. I would say with 3M, has a little more work to do. It's coming back into the zone as it's doing its check back. So maybe we touch the hop. We're somewhere, you're trading 129 and change. Maybe this goes as low as 126 before triggering the possibility of a move up to target 1 at 138. This is exactly how we would frame it out. Maybe look for that reaction and then come back down for the larger confirmation. You don't get that, no trade. But I absolutely do recommend, check these out. A lot of people love MetaTrader because the currency feed is excellent. By all means, I make these available for free so you guys can get accustomed to it, because what happens is the people that see it and really get it and realize the tools and the levels can't be ignored, they don't have to waste their money or their time. They already know, so they know it's worth the investment. And for me, I want people to want the product, because I want them to understand how critical these natural levels are to the decision-making framework based on the market's own trading action. That's how you detect where the buyers and sellers truly are. The supply-demand aspect of all trading is found within the harmonic patterns. That's how I feel. That's why I do what I do. So for all of that, take that, go to harmonictrader.com. I think I've been really clear. I don't think there's too many people that do it this way in the industry, and there's a reason why I do it this way. Again, I just think it's critical that you're representative of what you're doing. The trading I'm doing, the analysis, everything that I'm doing to help the trading community starts with being free. And the other thing I wanted to show for today, again, the confirmation strategies. All of my books are free as free PDFs. So you can buy the physical copy, but if you're not aware of a lot of the confirmation strategies I've been mentioning today, please go to Harmonic Trading Volume 2 and go through, review that, second half of the book. There's RSI BAM confirmation, different types of confirmation. Take the time to study that stuff. Really important. Beyond that, become a basic member, then subscribe, but get with all of the free information here and join us back on Monday. So it's been a pleasure. Richard, thank you for your time today. It was nice to meet you. If you are just a dentist, as you say, I don't believe you. I think you're a crypto dentist. But come on back, folks, on Monday. We'll see you then. Have a great weekend. As always, go get them. Have a great one. Enjoy these days.